Trump's White House are panicking after a photograph of Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reading a private text message has surfaced. Said to be Agriculture Secretary Rollins warns that recent moves by Argentina and China are giving Beijing increased leverage over the United States. As Trump's White House prepares a $20 billion bailout for Argentina.
I think in part, Secretary Bessent gave me a phone call on Sunday. We started talking through the Argentine matter. He had absolute clarity about what we need to do and what could possibly be going on. And the bottom line is that, our Council of Economic Advisors, our National Economic Council, our Treasury all have confidence that Milei's policies are moving Argentina in the right direction.
Republicans in farm country are utterly livid at the Trump administration for an, frankly, inscrutable, utterly outrageous bailout that it made to Argentina last week.
This after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said on Fox News that the federal government would not bail out New York City in a financial crisis if the city elects Zoran Mamdani. So much for America first, right?
He's calling for Javier Milei's reforms critical for that stability that you're talking about. But Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren, says that this is a taxpayer-funded bailout and is more about politics than U.S. interests. What do you want to say to Elizabeth Warren here?
Well, I tweeted it out yesterday. Senator Warren and her protege, Mr. Mamdani, who's running for mayor of New York, they are American Peronists. They want to do to the U.S. economy what the Perones, the General Anavita, did to the U.S. They want to take control. So, and I guarantee you, and there are not a lot of things in life that are sure, that New York City will be coming to the federal government for a bailout if the Mamdani plans are implemented.
And are you going to give him that bailout?
It will be the same thing that Gerald Ford said. Drop dead.
Drop dead. But look, oh my God. I mean, when you're talking about this mayoral race, this is the capital of, the capital of capitalism, right? I mean, New York's mayor race matters, right, for the country.
It does, but you can't enact policies like this and expect to be bailed out.
Yeah.
I lived here in the 80s. David Dinkins was a very nice man, but I remember rejoicing the night Rudy Giuliani was elected and the city went on this great path that we all took for granted. Well,
it appears that things aren't so rosy inside the cabinet after this message was leaked between Secretary Rollins and Bessent, warning that China is basically eating the US's lunch. The message was roughly transcribed by Meidas as saying, quote, "Finally, just a heads up, I'm getting more intel. But this is highly unfortunate. We bailed out Argentina yesterday, and in return, the Argentines removed their export tariffs on grains, reducing their price and sold a bunch of soybeans to China at a time when we would normally be selling to China. Soy prices dropping further because of it. This gives China more leverage on us. And as a result, the message has since went viral."
But the Treasury Secretary has indicated that the United States might offer some kind of large bailout to Argentina, $20 billion, maybe more. How would you feel about that?
That would really be outrageous. There's no justification for the United States providing Argentina with that bailout, other than the fact that the president of Argentina is a MAGA guy who likes Donald Trump. And for a president who says he wants America first, and at a time when we have so many people in this country who are hurting, living paycheck to paycheck, for the president to say he's going to bail out Argentina is a total betrayal of everything he ran.
Now, what does it imply, right? What does it all mean? Well, first, it suggests that the administration is deeply worried about its trade and diplomatic posture, a stark contrast from the strongman image Donald Trump gives off when he claims that the US is the hottest country in the world and everyone's just lining up to do business. Well, apparently not. Which, by the way, the American people are not seeing the benefits of, seeing as just recently the price of beef is skyrocketing that high to the point that Fox News can't deny it.
Kelly, beef prices are higher. I got that. How much more are we actually paying?
Yeah, you're really going to be treating yourself at the grocery store, Stu. Take a look at this. For ground beef, prices are up about 14% year over year, or I should say 13%, I believe. Roast, 14%, steaks, 17%.
But it also shows the dire state of affairs when internal staff feel the need to warn the Treasury Secretary about leverage shifts via text. And these revelations are also a glaring indictment of Trump himself, right? And one of his most cherished myths that he's Mr. Art of the deal. These texts show that instead of outmaneuvering rivals, the US, well, they're scrambling while other countries exploit opportunities and gain leverage. The US is far from dominating the playing field. I mean, the administration actually looks like it's being outplayed. And here's what it really matters, right? At home, as it may further hurt American farmers.
Always a tough subject because, look, we have farmers. I love farmers. I won 80%, 85% of the farmers, and I love them, and I'm never going to do anything to hurt our farmers. And you could also say the leisure business, etc. There are some businesses where you have a disproportionate amount of people that... By the way, we're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, just to get off the subject for a second. We're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers, who are, for a little while, going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit.
So if Argentina is able to sell soy and grain more cheaply on the global market, US farmers could even face tougher competition abroad, just as they're fighting to stay afloat at home.
But why are farmers angry? So here's why. Because of Trump's trade war with China, China has bought 0 soybeans from American farmers this year. China eats about 2/3 of all the soybeans around the world. Last year, China, I think, accounted for about 52% of soybean purchases. So in other words, without China buying soybeans from US farmers, our farmers are utterly screwed. Now, the only other real alternatives for China are, one, to grow them in China, and they're trying to do that long term, but really to purchase them from Brazil and also Argentina. Most of what they get, when they're not getting it from us, comes from Brazil, but Argentina is also a huge producer of soybeans. So last week, the Trump administration announced a $20 billion bailout of Argentina because Trump said he's supporting his friend in the upcoming election, Javier Milei. Javier Milei, you might remember, this is Elon Musk's buddy who did like a Doge type move on Argentina, and he drove the Argentinian economy into the ground, now needs a massive bailout. So Trump is offering this $20 billion lifeline. The same day that Trump and Bessent announced this lifeline, Reuters reports that Argentina is now shipping massive amounts of soybeans to China and cut its export taxes to 0. In other words, the American money that we're sending to Argentina is making up the gap. So Argentina now doesn't have to charge these export fees on its soybeans. So China gets a huge discount. So China is out there scrambling, trying to find soybeans to feed its population without buying American soybeans because they're in a trade war that we started with them. And Trump just made it much cheaper and easier for China to buy those from Argentina. Now, there's another brutal aspect to this that isn't getting any coverage, and it's that American hedge funds invested heavily in Argentina after Milei was elected because they thought that his libertarian /everything approach to the economy was actually going to turn things around and make Argentina a good investment. It didn't work at all. The economy collapsed, and so these American hedge funds were about to lose billions and billions of dollars on these stupid investments. But now Bessent, a former hedge fund guy, is the Treasury Secretary now, is coming in, and thanks to the bailout, the hedge funds are actually going to make a profit. And the final piece of this is that this is not the first time that Trump has done this to soybean farmers. The first time he was president, he started a trade war with China, and China responded by not buying soybeans from American farmers. And China instead told Brazil, we want to up our purchases from you. And then they actually started investing and helping Brazil build more highways, and they're putting more than $200 million into this port of Santos to help create capacity so that they can massively expand production of soybeans and exports to China. So they've basically almost doubled production from 2017 to today. Brazil has, and of course, all of these Brazilian soybeans that are being produced now are coming at the expense of the Amazonian rainforest, which was chopped down in order to make room for them. So awesome. Everybody's winning.
And the discontent is also showing up in the polls. A 2025 AG web poll of around 3,000 self-identified farmers found that 54% now say they don't support Trump's continued use of tariffs as a negotiating strategy. That's a serious warning sign, right? Especially in states like Iowa and Wisconsin, where Trump notoriously does well and where farmers' votes can swing elections.
Tariffs caused a trade war. Trade war caused escalating conflict economically and consequences. And as a result, one of the many results is that farmers in his state can't sell their product, can't sell their soybeans. And as a result, you and I are going to have to pay them.
We're going to take some of that tariff money that we made, we're going to give it to our farmers, who are, for a little while, going to be hurt until it kicks in. The tariffs kick into their benefit.
I cannot overstate. This is the stupidest policy that I think I've ever seen. I mean, I guess they're like at a niche level in some cities, people did some pilot programs that are pretty stupid. At a national level, like, I mean, I guess the Iraq War, I guess, but I mean, I just mean like on a specific policy item, like, to have your idea of these tariffs, which are supposed to bring about a golden age, is supposed to help rural America in particular, supposed to help the forgotten man, to have them within 9 months be such a catastrophe that you have to do a taxpayer-funded bailout to help the people that you fucked over because your policy was so stupid. I mean, that is like a land speed record for policy disaster.
And it's not just about text messages, right? Bessent has in other public avenues acknowledged strains. I mean, the guy had to be bent into a pretzel before even admitting that tariffs are felt by the consumer. He's also on record in the past distancing himself from Trump's tariff policy, describing the trade war as, quote, unsustainable, and called for de-escalation, which of course signals more conflict inside the White House. A White House that ever so often trades in bravado. Well, this is a moment of raw exposure, right? It undermines the image of this unwavering strength.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.